Okay,
Online ready? See it. Awesome. Yes, I guess. Okay, I would like to call this March meeting of the Seaside School District to order. Welcome, everyone. Today we have a new board member that we're going to swear in today, Miss Coral Sadler. Yay! Yeah.
Hey, welcome, Coral. Okay, so according to board policy BBBB, any elected or appointed board member must qualify by taking an oath of office before assuming the duties of office. So please read the oath of office in front of you.
I, Coral Sadler, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Oregon, and the laws thereof, and the policies of the Seaside School District. During my term, I will faithfully and impartially discharge the responsibilities of the office of the school board member to the best of my ability.
Welcome to the Seaside School Board.
We have a full quorum, so let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag is in the back. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. All right, it looks like we have a few additions to the agenda.
Yes, please. Please note that we have some changes or late additions made after posting that are listed here, which are the retirement of Corey Blecka, retirement of Judy Herson, and to table the confidential and supervisory salary memorandum of understanding because others will also be brought forward in April. We have some requested additions, some action items, an out-of-state trip request by the robotics team. And a gift approval by the MAPS Credit Union for $1,000.
Nice.
I move to approve the agenda as modified.
second,
Right, a motion has been made and seconded to approve the agenda with the modifications. Are there any questions? All those in favor, say aye.
all right,
All those opposed? Motion carries. Reports. Miss Ella, you get to go first today, so I know you need to get up to your.
No, okay.
Band.
That is, okay, we'll go about the slideshow.
I got it on the
Got it.
computer. I got it on the computer. You don't have it?
Okay, that's okay,
We can look at it on it.
um. So, yeah, the student report, first I just wanted to say hi to Miss Sadler, thank you for being part of the board. Just a little sports recap for everybody, there's so many people here today, it's awesome. So winter sports have wrapped up, we had cheer, wrestling, basketball, and swimming. Amazing performances by everybody involved with them, we had state athletes, we had league people who did really well at league. Not champions this year, but next year we'll get them. And next up is spring sports. So we have baseball, softball, track and field, golf. Sadly, no flag football team this year, but next year for sure. Yeah, so that's it for sports. We have a track meet tomorrow, if anybody's interested. In going, heading down there. Hopefully it'll be sunny. We'll see how the weather turns out. For arts, we have band, choir, and drama. So much going on. Obviously, I have a band concert tonight. Otherwise, I'd be wearing more green. But we had our district festival on March 11th, which went really well. It was up in St. Helens. If you haven't been to their auditorium, they just redid it and it's really beautiful. We obviously have a high school concert today, a middle school concert on Thursday. And then April 3rd and 4th is our Seaside Jazz and Blues Festival, which has both a student band part of it and a community band portion of it on that Saturday. If you haven't checked it out, it's a really great event. It's in memory of Mr. Rieger. So it's just really, really great. And the proceeds go to his scholarship. And band, we also have our league festival coming up on April 9th with hopes of maybe being a league champion. We'll see how it works out. Choir also just had their winter concert and league festival, although it sounds like there might have been a mix up on locations, but they had fun, even if it was a 2-hour bus ride to somewhere. But drama is also having their musical, which is Clue, the musical. I've heard, correct me if I'm wrong, there's going to be some audience involvement in picking the murder weapon and all that stuff. Drama's doing a great job, and please go and support our arts. They're all doing really awesome things. Check them out. Next up we have robotics. So obviously, if you haven't seen the robot outside, our banner, our trophies, they just had their week 2 event. Correct me if I'm wrong on anything. Week 2 event last Friday and Saturday up in Wilsonville, and one the weekend before in Salem. They ended up being part of the event winners because they worked in an alliance, and they won their round. If you haven't watched robotics, specifically our first robotics competition, it is so much fun to watch. Like, you get into it like football, you're yelling at the TV. They're just like little robots shooting balls all around, but it is so much fun to watch. And they always live stream it, and it's a whole production. So if you haven't checked it out, please do. So they won their rounds, which is why we have the big banner up there on the other side of our glass. And 2 more weeks until we wait and see if they're in the top 50 of our district, which is Oregon and Washington, hence the out-of-state trip. And see if they're in the top 50 to go to the next round, which would be awesome. And right now they are ranked 21st out of 126. So fingers crossed. Good luck to robotics. They're doing awesome things. If you didn't see them sporting their medals, I mean, is pretty cool to see. Pretty much in summary, there's one. Yeah, there we go. It's a new term, which means new schedules, a little bit chaotic at first. Adjustment, a little bit rainy outside, all the spring sports starting up. Thank you to the board for including the student voice in the superintendent hiring process. I know I said it earlier, but it means a lot to be included. And I hope to see more inclusion around the years. Other updates, we have the Sadie Hawkins dance on April 11th, still looking for chaperones. Like I said last time, anybody wants to relive those glory days, it's like cowboy themed. Show up in some cowboy boots, cowboy hat. Students love it when you guys show up and dress up. We really do. The cheer team had a cheer kids camp on the 7th and 8th for the kids in the community, which was a Pacifica project. And I remember when I was little and doing it, it's so much fun. And thank you, cheer, for putting that on. And yeah, nothing else this week. Sorry my slideshow didn't get up there, but yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day. And thank you guys for letting me dip early to go make the ceiling make noise. So
It's gonna dip.
yes.
Thank you.
That means she's gonna leave. for all
Yeah,
day.
I'm gonna leave and go play in band.
All right, good luck to you back, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Forward to hearing it. in a few
Yes.
minutes.
Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you. Spotlights.
Yeah. So I would love to introduce the Equity Advisory Committee. We have a number of members, and we have some of them represented here today to share with you about the work they've been doing. So come on up. And you're welcome to bring chairs up and
Yeah.
Yeah, just.
Bring some chairs, stand, whatever.
Yep, bring
works for
some
you.
chairs up and. Yep. There's plenty of room up here to. Yep, front.
Good evening.
Hi. Okay, so this is part of our equity committee, right here. So we're gonna share with you who we are and what we do. And there was a Senate bill that in 2021, was passed saying that all school districts had to have an equity committee beginning meetings in the fall of 2025, which we did do. And we, of course, are here to represent, historically marginalized groups of students. And look at school board policies, climate of schools, all different kinds of things, anything that comes up for us. We take a look at that and we see how we can support, students and if we are supporting students in the right way. And we are made up of students, district, staff. We're made up of, building, administrators, and the teachers, community members and parents. So it's a committee of various people that support our students. And I think you're gonna.
We meet
Yeah.
once a month, the second Tuesday morning of every month, at 7.
Can you guys just introduce yourselves?
Sure. I'm
Good.
sorry,
I
I'm
mean, we
Wendy
know who
Crozier.
you are, but
Yes,
not
yeah.
everybody
Sorry.
knows who you are, so.
Sorry about that. I'm Wendy Crozier. I'm the associate principal for the secondary school.
And I'm Desi Grates, one of the assistant principals at the elementary school.
Carlina Gage, assistant principal of the middle school.
My name's Brenna Lee and I'm a senior at Seaside High School.
I'm Catherine Lacoste and I'm a parent of a elementary school student.
Thank you, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, sorry about that. Anyways, we meet Thursday, the second Thursday of every month at 7:30 in the morning. And we always start out our meetings with a grounding activity, which you're gonna get to enjoy in just a moment. And then we talk about some different equity topics. And then we always end our meeting with an equity challenge. So I am gonna just come around. I think everybody in the audience has a poem, but I am gonna open us up with a poem today and then a short breathing activity.
Yeah. That's understanding shortness of breath, right? Get yourself centered, yeah, get your sheet right up close.
It's true.
That's right.
Energy
So it's all
is
about.
important.
It was all about.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you,
All right.
indeed.
So turning to one another, I'm just gonna read it through. As I read it through, I would just invite you to think about or underline or circle any words or phrases or anything that might stand out. Turning to one another. There is no power greater than a community discovering what it cares about. Ask what's possible, not what's wrong. Keep asking. Notice what you care about. Assume that many others share your dreams. Be brave enough to start a conversation that matters. Talk to people you know. Talk to people you don't know. Talk to people you never talk to. Be intrigued by the differences you hear. Expect to be surprised. Treasure curiosity more than certainty. Invite in everybody who cares to work on what's possible. Acknowledge that everyone is an expert about something. Know that creative solutions come from new connections. Remember, you don't fear people whose stories you know. Real listening always brings people closer together. Trust that meaningful conversations can change your world. Rely on human goodness. Stay together. Margaret Wheatley, turning to one another.
And then just a little time just for you to reflect on those words. Oh, okay, sure. Yeah. So in our meeting, we discussed a lot of different topics and those include.
So one of them is the district's equity lens and instructional equity lens. So just like how the district is approaching equity and among its instruction and in curriculum and programs. Anything else to add?
Yeah, it's just basically looking at how our curriculums in our district view equity and how we incorporate that into our learning and how we interact with students. Another topic that we discussed was how to support or further support our immigrant and Hispanic families. To state clearly, this year has there have been a lot of challenges, I think, with this community, with just changes in administration and also increased presence in ICE. And that has led to a lot of fear around our community too. And we've seen that in our attendance as well, where students or families are choosing to keep their students at home instead of having them go to school. And so we talk as a committee on ways to ensure that our students are feeling safe at our school and that this is a safe environment. And one way that we have helped that, I guess, is by moving the Hispanic Parents Night to online. And that also goes to talk about an intersection of resources too. So how advertisement of resources may help families that are struggling, and also the intersection with fear and mental health and how we can help our students with their mental health, which is also another topic that we discussed.
Another thing that we talk about is attendance barriers, which I'm sure you all are aware is a Hydra-like topic and complication. There's so many things that go into what is affecting attendance. So I mean, yeah, I think one of it's just getting an idea of those things, whether they're financial barriers, whether they're family structures or students' health. Yeah, there's just obviously a lot of things. So trying to first identify those barriers and then brainstorm and talk to people in our community and teachers and people who are part of the school district, just about like what are some actual viable solutions, because obviously we all know that kids being in school is really important for a variety of reasons, but you know, how do you address each kid's individual needs or what is maybe a barrier for their family? So
Right, and with attendance, I think it's important to discuss the root causes of that. And is there one root cause, and what are the different kind of things that go into why students aren't attending? Really. Another thing we discussed was support for special programs.
And so right now, if anybody wants to share about their experience being on the committee, I know for myself, I find it to be a really safe place to be able to talk about anything. You know, it's very, very safe, especially with that grounding activity at the very beginning, which we also do in our administrative district level meeting. Each administrator leads a grounding activity, which is really nice. It kind of creates this open space to be able to share. Does anybody want to share about their experience being on the committee? And then we could open it up to any questions.
Well, what I love is just having our different members, because we have parents who can share what their challenges are maybe for attendance, or how they feel that I've never thought of. So just having different lenses and perspectives is really nice. I really like the different perspectives on the committee. Yeah, that's what I really like about it. And just knowing our community, right? And just opening it up and learning new resources that our community has, so that we can, that's one thing I think that especially for the elementary, working more with the middle school and high and just kind of connecting our resources was really good for us.
I think as a parent, it's just really important for me to know that this district is like respecting its commitment to DEI, and that, I mean, in my mind, it's impossible for the district to accomplish its mission of strengthening community, inspiring possibility, and ensuring opportunity without having an emphasis on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Like you can't have one without the other. And so for me, it is essential, and I need to know that my daughter is going to have that experience here.
I think as a student, it's really important for us to be able to share our opinions and our voices, especially just things that I'm seeing and different barriers that students may face at equity. I think a big one is like access to resources and how we get students to understand what those resources are and access them And then also have the educator spot when students may need help. And so I just think it's really great to kind of create welcoming school culture and a positive school culture, that we have to understand these root causes of the issues and barriers to equity that may stem from like underrepresented groups.
I think we had Consejo Hispano come in as a guest speaker, which was really nice. And I think that it's just a step forward in opening up avenues to different community resources and having different voices present to ask questions that were coming up in different spaces. I think is really powerful. You know, being in the southern part of Clatsop County, we don't have as many resources as they do in the northern part of Clatsop County. And so really learning how to kind of leverage and access those resources has been really, really nice.
I'll just share too, this is, I'm part of this group and I just really appreciate an opportunity to learn from these people and such a great way to have students, parents, and staff together and to just be having those conversations all together in one space. And that's probably my favorite part of it.
So that's our presentation, unless anybody has a question, comment.
I have a quick question. I think it's fabulous what you're doing and I feel like I kind of want to be a part of it. But when you're talking about barriers, let's say for attendance, you talked about that and you identify a barrier, like maybe it's a health, or what do you do with that information? Do you go to the counselor? Do you go to a student's family? Like, where does it go from this committee group?
I mean, I can speak to when I learned, we have an attendance committee at the elementary school, so just, sharing that piece of information and then like, okay, so let's talk to our families. Like, I learned there was a lot of family barriers that we didn't really know about. And so just connecting to more families and figuring out how we can help with that. So.
And another thing to add, I think that our committee is very informative based. So a lot of it is just sharing our experiences with why maybe I as a student might have attendance issues, or why parents and their children have attendance issues. And so while we are we want to be action based too, a lot of it is just understanding and learning about this process and then bring it up to the superintendent and to other staff members that can make actual change in policy.
Great.
What have you guys commissioned any reports or surveys, climate surveys to the larger group that you're referencing as you kind of build out the opportunities you'd like to pursue?
Yeah, actually I sent out, this is kind of with the equity committee, but it's a separate thing too. And my experience with the equity committee have informed me. But for part of my Pacifica, I'm working on creating a resource pantry. And so I recently sent out a survey to students at Seaside High School about what they like to see in a resource pantry and how they can be helpful with it and what kind of resource they want to see too. So I think it's part of that as well.
Yeah, and the elementary did an attendance survey for our survey committee, right? But this is the first year we have the committee for equity. So I think this year's kind of we're figuring it out, right? So yeah.
Right, this fall is when it started.
Yes.
Right, just this year. So
They've
you've
had,
been doing this for,
Yes.
right, a few months, so it's just the beginning, so. I think
August
it-
was the first meeting.
Right, yeah, so just to be able to have people come to you and comfortably say, these are my barriers, right, that is a huge step, so. Congratulations, big steps in this district, so because that's always the big question is how do we get these people to come to us? How do we know what their problems are if they don't come to us and tell us? So that's a big, big step forward, so. Great work.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Good job. All right, superintendent report.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Okay, I have a number of things to share with you tonight. First slide there, Greg. Okay, I love, I know I've shared with this to you before, but I really appreciate the way that the transportation department has a driver of the month. Congratulations to Angel. So Angel is one of our van drivers. So Angel transports some students back and forth to Astoria for our early learning program. And the students call her the driver mom. So just the way she connects with students and just the nurturing atmosphere she creates. So congratulations to Angel. The Wellness Committee is in the process of organizing a bingo night. This is just one of our really good connection events. As you know, we have some connection events spread out throughout the year. So once again, save the date if any of the board members could come to this bingo night. I know that the staff would love to see you there. So just save that date. More information to come. So we have, several things on the docket. We've got our local option levy up for renewal. And that will be on the May 19th ballot. Just wanted to share with you that we've had several community outreach and engagement events. And you have a list there. This has kind of been our roadshow of spreading the word that this has we've had a local option levy since 2001 in our district. It needs to be renewed every 5 years. So there's been an opportunity to talk to several of our community organizations as well as our staff to share about this. This is about a little over $11 million over 5 years. Local option levies support operations and staff. It makes a big impact on what we're able to do. So more events will take place. Okay, Seaside Education Foundation, a foundation separate from the district that is committed to raising funds for our future performing arts center. We've also had several outreach events. The Seaside Education Foundation, which has its separate board, meets the third Monday of each month at 5 o'clock in the district office. Thank you to Sandra and Brian, who are our board representatives who serve as advisors on that committee. We also have some staff advisors, Ann Susie and Josiah Glazier, and a big shout out to Josiah, who has participated in a number of these outreach events and is just a real positive voice for spreading the word in the community. And a big congratulations to the Seaside Education Foundation, they were awarded their tax exempt status. So that takes a little bit of time.
Susan is also an advisor on that board.
I am. I'm a liaison on that group, and so we're all non-voting members just to support them to get up and running. Okay, there have been some questions, not only from some board members, but some staff members on this complicated system we call PERS, this retirement system. And while anybody who works for a public entity knows that their retirement system is in PERS, but it's a pretty detailed process. And as you know, we have some budget reductions, which I'll be sharing later in the meeting. But there are a big part of that is a shortfall we have in PERS. So I wanted to just take some time to give you a little bit more of a high level report on PERS. So PERS, of course, stands for Public Employees Retirement System. It is the structure for folks who work in school districts or for cities or counties or fire departments or the police or any system that it works for a public entity and who's part of PERS, okay? So when, when somebody works in, I'm sorry, I need to share that here, so. Okay, it's not attached here, sorry. The structure of it is that when school districts put in money, and so do staff, into the PERS system while they're working, and then when they retire, then they receive retirement through here. There are 3 tiers in PERS, depending on when you are hired, depending on your hire date, tier 1, tier 2s, and then what's called OPSERV. Okay, and those are different levels of funding. Okay, next slide. Here's a little bit more information on the different tiers. If you were hired somewhere between when PERS started in 1996, you're considered a tier 1. And this, of course, is the most generous plan, which has the most returns. Okay, tier 2 is between the time frame up there of 1996 to 2003. Tier 2 was established because they needed a way to reduce costs. Tier 1 was paying out a lot of money. Okay, and then anybody who was hired after 2003 to the present time is this OPSERV, which is the current plan for new folks, or once again, people who were hired 2003 and on. And it shows there that there is a somewhere around there a 45% payout of their final average salary, which is usually 3 years, that they do that average after working for 30 years. Okay, next slide. Okay. So if you read over the news, there's all the information about PERS is going up, costing districts a lot of money. Well, there's reasons for that, okay? And it's a variety of reasons, okay? I'll talk in more detail about expiration of side accounts. Most districts, somewhere between 2005 and 2007, started to see that PERS was taking out more than it was taking in. So a lot of districts in the state of Oregon purchased a bond to make a side account to make up that difference. Okay. So that's those side accounts are expiring. Like I said, I'll talk in more detail about that in a moment. Another reason is underperforming investments. So investments that are made are coming in lower than they expected, especially over 2022 and 23. Okay. Unfunded liabilities. So costs from, when tier 1 started to 2003, retirees continue to more is coming out of the system that's coming in. Okay. The fourth factor is wages are rising faster than was originally expected. Okay, so that's a variety of reasons. Next slide. Okay, so what does that look like in Seaside? Okay, why are we facing this shortfall as all districts are? Okay, so what I have here is some numbers of our total payroll in the district for 2025-26 and the total that the district pays in PERS. Okay, now in 2026-27, we have projected here what our payroll increases are for a variety of reasons. We just negotiated a new contract. We will have people increasing with their steps and the COLA increases. So that's why we see that. And then the total projected in PERS, the reason you see that big jump there is because our side account is going to run out quicker than we expected. So to give you a little bit more information, like I said, about this side account, is in 2005, the district purchased this side account. It was a good purchase to make. It saved the district. The side account bond was purchased for about $10 million, saved the district about $4 million, so good investment. The side account was meant to last until December of 2027. And it is running out in March of 2027. This is not unique to our district. It's happening in most of the districts who purchase side accounts throughout the state. Some districts have already run out of it. Okay, so what it does is it puts us in a situation where next year we will run out of that side account to supplement the payments we need to make to PERS. And so the reason we are making those reductions this year is so that we don't have to make reductions mid-year next year, because nobody wants that to happen. Next slide.
How much does the side account fund every year? How much does that bond pay out every year? Towards PERS to augment it?
Tony, do you?
It's a sliding scale. I can get that for you.
Well, if it's 3.5 million of the 3.5 million every year, is it like?
Well, the
No, the
3.5 million is not the side account.
No, I know, but total PERS is 3.5. That's out of just the regular budgeted amount.
yes.
And then the side account is not a part of that 3.5?
Right.
That's correct.
Okay, so
Mhm.
we don't know how much that side account is providing.
Well,
That's
we do,
expired.
but I just,
Not
didn't-
off the top of
I
my
just
head.
didn't put the exact amount in here.
What is the reduction? You said reduction. What is that reduction?
Budget.
Budget reduction?
Yes, which I'll talk
Okay.
about later on. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, so what does this look like in March of 2027? Okay, in March of 2027 is when we will have our final credit from the PERS side account. Okay, now PERS does require a set aside once your side account runs out. Okay, and that is to prepare for the remainder of the fiscal year. And if you think about, you know, I'm trying to think of a good example. What PERS is they're saying, okay, your side account's running out. You need, as a district, to be able to show that you're going to be able to make up the difference between what you're paying in PERS and that difference in the side account. So they want to be able to know that you're good for it. Okay. So that's why it's important to be able to be prepared for that, so you don't have cuts. So as I've shared with you, which I'll go into more detail on the budget reduction, is why we're preparing for this, so that we don't have, you know, you've read about districts who need to make mid-year cuts, which we don't want to do. So this is the immediate picture for 26-27 school year. The last slide here is long-term planning for PERS increases. I know I've told you this before, but PERS reform is a statewide issue. Unfortunately, what school districts are needing to do is they're needing to deal with it as an individual school district, which is not a long-term solution. And PERS has tried some reforms, you know, 2 or 3 reforms that have not been successful. So I don't mean to be doom and gloom when I say that, but right now, individual school districts are tasked with solving a solution that is a statewide problem. So what is important for the school board to know is that as far as long-term planning for PERS increases is, as our side account is running out and you're planning for the future, is building and utilizing reserves is very important to think about, because when that side account runs out, the natural solution would be, oh, we need to purchase another side account. But the interest rates are not good right now. They're very volatile. So in the next 12 to 18 months will be an important discussion for the district to have with Piper Sandler, who is a good manager of PERS and side accounts, to get advice from them on when is a good time to do that, because it's a volatile market right now. Managing expiring side accounts, which is what we just talked about, that, you know, many accounts are expiring, that, like I said, it's not unique to us. With the district preparing for continued volatility, I mean, it will probably be post 2027 before some bonds are available at a reasonable rate, where another side account makes good fiscal sense for the board. And then more long-term is advocating for that structural reform of PERS to make it more manageable for individual districts. Now, my point in sharing all this with you is not the doom and gloom, but just to hopefully give you a little bit of a better idea of all of the complex moving parts of PERS, and that I really recommend, when the board has more time after the superintendent search is over, after all the things that you are focusing on right now, in the fall, I think it would be good to have a representative from Piper Sandler go into more detail about the structure of PER, probably, you know, a 60 to 90-minute work session to learn a little bit more and to do some more long-term planning with them. So I hope this is helpful. Or if hopefully it didn't just confuse you more.
Tiny bit, but helpful.
Okay. Tony, anything you would want to add to that?
So I looked up the rate credit. So for December, the period ending December 2025, the rate credit was approximately 1.3 million, and then it's projected December 2026. Our side account will contribute 1.1 million around.
So annually, the coupon for the bond was about $1 million.
Yeah.
About for the last 2 years.
It was a $10 million bond, 20-year bond in 2007.
Yes, but they invested and we saved about $4 million.
Yeah, now the returns during that time period would have been great, but
Yes.
okay. So the shortfall projected this year is how much again?
2 million.
2 million this year.
That's what we are, you know, the 2.4 million that I'm sharing with you for the reduction is 2 million for PERS, which once again is kind of the side account running out. In addition to, you know, you're gonna see higher rates because of salary increases. And then, you know, and that's kind of the 2 million. And then, you know, preparing, because PERS is gonna want to see your savings account. And then also, you know, so that's the 2 million. And then 300 is for a $300,000 reduction in our property taxes that we haven't seen, and then 100,000 in reduced timber funds.
The investment income, is that money we are taking and investing? Is that what the investment income is?
So the side account was where a group of districts, and maybe Tony, you can explain this a little bit better than me, but a group of districts got together and purchased individual bonds for their districts. And that was money that went into the side account, and then those were invested for us. And like I said, it was a good investment. It saved the district for $4 million. But once again, it was a very different time with, you know, a lot better returns.
The term they used a few years back was what they call the PERS insurance, right? They put this money in like an insurance.
Like an insurance policy.
And they're like,
Mhm.
okay, we know it's gonna cost us more, so this insurance policy is gonna cover part of it for us. And it's like that, that was the term that they used in the past, was as far as like the best way to describe it, right? We're buying this insurance bond to ensure that we have the money to pay the PERS and not have to pay the full amount. And there was, I know I have this diagram somewhere in my file of papers, but it's just like a curve, right? It says, we're gonna run out. It says, you know, it's like, okay, if we invest now, we're gonna pay less now. We're gonna pay more right now, but we're gonna pay less when it's more expensive. Right? And so that's kind of how it all.
Which worked great, except it's running out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great for its life.
For many years.
Yeah, for its lifespan, and now the lifespan is over, so now we gotta
So that's
Regroup.
one of the factors that's increasing our cost to our budget.
Yes.
There are several.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, Susan? Tony, did you, no, you're next. Next. Okay, business fiscal reports, Tony.
Hello.
Hi,
welcome.
welcome back.
Welcome back.
For our payroll update, we have updated our system for all the new classified rates and codes. And so they will be paid at the new rates on Friday when payroll comes out. The retro checks will be paid separately on the same date as our regular payroll in April 24th. That so gives us time to do all the calculations and input. And then,
Question,
yes,
if that's all done before then, could the checks be cut before payroll?
so.
I'm just saying, if it's all done, I'm not saying. it has to
I
be all
don't think
done.
it will be, but if at all possible, we would, but I'm not sure that that would happen.
Okay.
So, yeah. And in the special revenue funds, 2.3 million in grant reimbursement claims are being processed, and we should receive those in April. Any questions on the reports or anything?
Those were as planned, those grants were funded
Yes.
to the amount we projected. And we still don't know about the additional 3 million set aside, correct?
Correct.
Well, I'm sorry, I
So-
always forget the name of that one. What was that one?
So you'll see that the revenue actual is about that, that far apart because it's a reimbursement grant. Most of those are reimbursement grants that we have to spend the money before we claim the money. So that's why that's upside down.
Okay,
We have to pay it first and then
right, then they.
we get
And then they
But that one's
reimburse.
not at risk of being reimbursed. The 3 million that we set aside is part of the additional reserve this year for the budget was. That is still unknown, the largest grant in that, right? The federal
Right,
grant.
we don't know if that's gonna get pulled or not, it's still. They say it is, then it isn't, and then
Are
it
we
is.
spending that?
Jason, are you referring to the free and the free lunch and breakfast?
No, what was the big set aside that we did as part of the budget planning process last year?
It was for the title grants.
It was for
And
all the
the
federal
FAA.
grants we get.
Yeah.
It was a combination of all the federal grants.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and that totaled, there were large chunks, right, of that totaled 3 million overall, 3.2, whatever it was. And so of those federal grants and that 3.2 million, none have been issued to date.
None have been retracted. That was my. So when we budgeted, we didn't know if they were even being awarded.
Right, we're like,
So-
we're gonna set all this money aside.
Right, so they've been awarded, a little bit less than we thought, but not to the tune of $3 million. But as volatile as our, current state is, I'm not sure if they can always retract that, so.
So they have been
They-
awarded?
They have been.
They've been awarded, retracted, awarded.
When you say awarded, do we actually get the money or they just said we're going to get them?
We get a notice that the money's been awarded. and then it will be removed, and then it will be re-awarded, and then it will be removed.
We actually haven't seen any dollars.
So it's very unknown. We used to, with our grant that we have, used to be Provision 2, is it CEC now? Tony, what is? what
Oh,
are
the CEP.
CEP, okay, which is our free breakfast and lunch for all of our students. We used to get notifications for that quarterly, award grants for that quarterly, and now that has been really shortened. It went down to monthly, and now it's even less than that, correct?
So it's monthly so far.
Okay. And they have said we may get weekly notifications on that, so we will see. Yep.
Yeah. Any other questions, Tony? Okay, Susan, you're up for budget reduction update.
All right. So Greg's gonna bring that up. I wish I didn't need to bring this forward to you. We have not had to do budget reductions in the past. But as we've talked about this, off and on throughout since November. And this has been a challenging process, but I am super thankful for everybody who's been involved in this process and for their candid conversations. So just to do a little timeline for you is, in December, November/December was kind of when the budget shortfall was determined, as I shared earlier. The 2.4 million, as I explained, with the largest chunk of that being out of the PERS shortfall. And then the other 400,000 being a combination of fewer property taxes and timber money. Okay, and then January and February started my conversations with principals and supervisors to identify their reduction priorities. And then sharing that information with certain groups and hearing their priorities, getting their feedback. Appreciate the union leadership meeting with me and giving their feedback, and some other groups as well. And then in March, being able to talk and being able to put all that outlined and bringing this to you today. Okay, next slide. So throughout this process, it was really my goal and the finance department to really look at this through equitable reductions, to really spread it across multiple funding sources, to be able, like I said, to listen to a variety of stakeholders, to look at multiple options and gather feedback, to prioritize the district's low class sizes and the dedication to that, and to really have staff stability, and that if we needed to reduce positions, that it didn't have any people losing jobs in our district. So in other words, if positions were eliminated, that was done either through retirements or attrition, and that if positions were eliminated, that we had another position for people to go into. That was the same position as far as same pay, same hours. Okay, so that was a goal. Before we move forward, I thought it was really important for you to take a look at our staffing numbers and the percentages from each employee group. Okay, so licensed, of course, are teachers, our counselors, our specialists. Classified, of course, is probably our most diverse group with, bus drivers, food service, instructional assistants, custodians, just a wide variety of folks. We have what we call non-represented staff. These are staff that are not in unions and have individual contracts. An example would be, a speech language pathologist or or school psychologist. And while they have a license to do their work, they are not part of the license union through teacher standards and practices. Administrators are not only building principals, but directors and myself. And so it is administrators in all those capacities. And then our confidential staff are our staff who work in the district office and our supervisors who are not licensed. So like supervisors of the supervisor of transportation and facilities, food service folks. Okay. So those are our totals. It's important to note, I think, that our admin and our confidential staff, make up less than 10% of our staff. Okay, next. Okay. A big part of the process was to be able to look at our class sizes. And important to note that at the elementary level, we do have very low class sizes, which, like I said, is a really important thing. These numbers are the numbers that you saw on October 1st of this school year, which is when we officially are required to provide our numbers to the state. And when I provide those enrollment numbers, that's when I provide these average class sizes to you. Okay. So next slide. Some conversations did come up about our administrators and why we have the numbers that we do. So I really wanted to be able to show you that at each of the schools, the number of building administrators we have, the total number of staff they have in certified and classified, and the ratios of the people that they supervise. Because with the number of folks that they need to supervise, all of those people go through an evaluation process. So whenever our staff are evaluated through an evaluation, it must be done by a licensed administrator. Okay. And so that's some information for you on some ratios about what our administrators are doing. Pardon me?
Do we have more than normal administrators? Is that what it's?
No, we don't. No, we don't. Okay. So these are the budget reductions that I am bringing forward. So to start with, the first three things on this list are things that I tried to start with ways that we could do this that do not involve staff and are just ways that I think could tighten our belt. Okay. So the first one being professional development reductions. This is a $90,000 savings. These are some professional development we've hired out of district to do over the last 3 years. And it does also involve some travel to some professional development that I think we can save some money. And I think that our instructional coaches and our administrators have become well-trained in this area, and we can provide this professional development, continue to have that high-quality professional development in-house. So this is a smart way to save. Another big ticket item that we can save is delaying a new English language curriculum adoption until 2030. This, it is a significant spending to do one of these adoptions. And after talking to some folks and talking to Kate Blakesley, folks are really starting to get used to their curriculum and for language arts and are quite happy with it. So I think this is also a wise decision. This year was our first year of delaying a bus purchase. A regular bus purchase is around $200,000. And I think delaying a bus purchase for one more year is a smart move. We have a good grasp on our fleet. I think that another couple years we could delay, but then we would need to start purchasing buses again. The fourth item here is a savings. And so right now in our 18 to 21, which is our transitions program, we are running a program completely on our own. And we're working with the other 4 districts in our county to run a consortium model on that. So this is a savings to braid funding with the other districts, which I think is going to be a really good model anyway. So that's what you see. And oh, I'm sorry, that's the shared transitions teacher. That's the $90,000 savings there. Let me back up to the transfer, the 0.5. That is also a shared savings. We did get some additional money in our early learning grant, which is a statewide grant. And so being able to transfer part of one of our teachers' salary and benefits to that. So that is also an additional savings there. I am presenting a reduction of 3 FTE licensed positions. This is partly due, and I won't go into a lot of detail here because we're still working out those details, but this is because of the really low class sizes at the elementary level. This is not 3 elementary teaching positions. But this is really a combination of one of those positions and then looking at some TOSA positions as well. Okay. And then I also have 3.375 of some non-everyday student contact classified positions. What I mean by that is some folks who do not work in the classroom with students. The reason you see the 3.375 is because we do have some staff who do not work full-time. And then the last item on here is some reduction out of our general fund reserves and to also accommodate that, which would still keep us with our ending fund balance being at the 10%. That is in our board policy and it is important for the district. So this is what I think is a wise choice. We always want to not have to cut anything, but we are faced with this situation. And I think this is probably the best we can do. This does, like I said, save our folks. It would require some folks maybe to move to some different positions, but having them still all with us will be important. Do I have another slide? Okay, so to take us back to that goals through the process, it does meet the goals. And like I said, especially still maintain those low class sizes and that staff stability. All right, what kind of questions do you have for me?
I just want you to clarify on the FTE license positions that those three that we're eliminating, that's not necessarily that people are losing their jobs.
It
it's
is
through
not, those
attrition.
will be through attrition, yeah, whether it be retirements or people who are resigning, moving on to somewhere else. That is correct.
And the 3.375, I missed what you said was happening with that.
So positions that are folks who do not work directly with students in the classroom.
So what's happening with those positions?
I don't want to go into that detail now, just because I don't want to identify any specific, I want to respect people's privacy on that right now.
How much difference do those three licensed and classified positions make in terms of future PERS payments?
Well,
I know it won't be dramatic. but
right,
it will
right.
reduce our obligation.
Well, when I make general budget reductions on here, what I do is, when I'm calculating how much a position costs, okay? I mean, as I've shared with you in the past, for a licensed position, around 50% of our staff are at the top of the pay scale.
Sure.
So when I calculate for this, for the purpose of this, I calculate a salary and benefits from somebody at that range, kind of the middle of the road there. And I do the same with kind of a middle of the road classified position.
Right.
Yeah.
The only concern that I see right off the bat is we're delaying adoption, which is okay. We're delaying school bus, okay, but we're kicking things down the road, which means we have to pay for them someday. At the same time, we're reducing our general fund reserves. So we'll have less money to do that down the road. Those two things together worry me. I don't know if there's a better answer. I don't have one. Your answer looks better than anything I can think of, but those things worry me.
My reasoning for that, after reviewing, Chris Peters, our transportation supervisor, has done a good job of really analyzing the life that's, the life that's left on each of our buses. So, I'm confident with that. The adoption and the time and energy and process that went into selecting and training our staff on that ELA curriculum, that's still a fairly new curriculum.
Sure.
And like I said, I did a very unofficial survey of talking to a lot of staff, about that, and got a lot of positive feedback on that. And so while it's delaying it, I think it will be important to continue those conversations. Like I said, I think a couple years of pausing on bus purchases are okay, but then it's going to have to come back in. And this was my attempt to minimally reduce positions.
No, I completely respect that. I'm looking at the following year.
Sure.
Or two or three.
Does the curriculum adoption have to happen at a certain point? Like a certain
Oregon Department of Ed has a 6-year cycle for us. 6-year, Kate?
I believe so.
7-year, thank you. 7-year cycle. And they have it spelled out for us. That being said, I think they're gonna see this a lot because everybody's facing budget reductions.
When did we adopt our last?
Kate, when was the last ELA adoption?
4 years ago.
So we have time to
Got a little bit off schedule during COVID,
Oh, I'm sure.
so we're okay to delay it.
Yeah.
We used a lot of ESSER money for curriculum adoption early.
Sorry,
That's
that's my computer shut down. Okay.
But if we have 7 years, is it a delay or is it? How?
So that would be.
And when you think of a curriculum adoption kind of as a 3-year process, you kind of have the first year where you begin researching new curriculum. Then you kind of have the process where you work with staff and you start looking at them and piloting. And then your 3rd year is kind of where you do your trainings and your implementation.
And there's costs at each of those levels, even at
Yeah.
research.
I mean, obviously, the 2nd year is the most expensive year, but. And your most expensive adoptions are math, ELA, and social studies. So once again, wish I didn't have to present it to you, but I don't want you to be in a situation of having to make mid-year cuts next year.
Other questions for Susan?
This will be part of the budget.
This,
Or
yeah.
the cycle, the whole
Yeah,
thing.
correct.
735 is just a single year outlay for
correct,
this year. Would you expect that to be?
for 26, 27.
Right, so single year outlay 26, 27.
Mhm.
I guess we'll decide that as part of the final PERS amounts and discussion.
Mhm.
Is there another course of action here besides saying just cutting more people? Like, this is one proposal. I think that what would be good to have as part of the budget committee is several proposals for how do we get here? Here's some other options that we can pick from to get to this number as opposed to just.
There's other options, but I think like,
The board doesn't need to approve this. I
we're not
mean,
doing anything with this today.
No, I
Yeah,
know,
you're
I'm
not-
saying that as we go forward for the budget cycle, it would be good to understand what those additional menu items are.
Jason,
To meet the shortfall.
you've done the budget committee thing before, right?
Mhm.
You know that it won't take long, it's reduction in staff,
Mhm.
because that's where the money is.
Well, that's the easiest.
That's
to say.
No, I'm not saying it's
But-
easy to do, I'm saying it's hard to find the money.
Yeah.
When most of the money is in staff, it's hard to find it somewhere else.
And there's the balance with, while like I said, it's important to spread out the reductions. And it's finding that, finding that balance of where it is. I am, like I said, I am including a reduction in general fund reserves and finding that sweet spot of, because I think it's important to, like I said, spread it out. And still meet your goals of having that 10% ending fund balance, because as I shared about in the information about PERS, I mean, you're in this situation where you also have to have enough in reserves to be able to accommodate those increased expenses. So it's a balance of, competing priorities. So.
This
We
is,
have to have funds in the bank to show if we want more money or things like that, because I think you said something about we have to show our bank accounts, right? So we have to.
Yes, and you'll meet that goal with your 10% reserves. And I think you've made a wise decision to keep it at that 10%. And you revisited that last year. I think it was last year, maybe it was 2 years ago, because Michelle was still.
Yeah.
So you did revisit that total. Mhm.
is there any optimism? Because this PERS situation is really impacting a lot of districts across the state this year.
Mhm.
And it'll be even more dramatic next year. Well, the following year, I shouldn't, this year, I'm talking about next year
Next year.
for this year.
Yep.
Is there any optimism that the state is going to do anything
I
to
hope
help
so.
alleviate, well,
I hope so. I would like to, I would like to think so.
I don't want to be a pessimist, but
I don't
See
either.
it.
I don't
See it.
either. I want to be really optimistic about it, there needs to be some kind of solution. Yeah, and hopefully it will be at the state level.
That's the question that is going through my head. It seems fundamental, but I was afraid to ask it. But if there's increases in PERS, if, we know we have increases in salaries. Where does that increase come from? Where does that money come from if we're continually expected to increase? Costs, our.
It's one of the biggest challenges school districts are facing right now. We're unique in the sense that we're not in the state school fund. And, districts who, the 193 out of 197 that are in the state school fund, saw some decent increases in the state school fund, not what they needed. There were a lot of conversations because the state has a lot of money in reserves right now. But there's a lot of competing priorities for that: wildfires, the homeless initiatives, affordable housing. And so everybody's fighting for a piece of that pie. It's going to be interesting. These are some unprecedented times in public school funding.
We will have increased revenue. But not from the state. It's from our inflection sources. Property taxes
Yes.
go up. All property values will go up, so taxes will go up, let's put it that way. But we're losing timber revenue this year.
That's not good.
If we had more timber revenue, but that means you have to harvest more timber, so yeah.
And I'm really thankful the district has an established local option levy. Districts who are starting a local option levy, not renewing, face some bigger hurdles.
Yeah.
So
We better hope that passes.
Get the word out.
All right.
Okay, well, this will all be revisited. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Susan.
School reports. Jason looks like he's up first. Welcome.
First off, you have a gold coin there. There were little pictures of that particular leprechaun spread all over the school today, so students could find their leprechaun and then come collect a gold coin. You might recognize that.
I didn't.
Person's face.
For the win.
Yeah. Wanted to thank Ella. I think it's been a while since I've been to a board meeting. She covered about 90% of everything that I was going to cover. So this will be a lot shorter. State testing for the SBAC for our 8th graders and 11th graders will be starting April 13th and conclude around April 24th. Our staff continues to work on our Marzano NASOT strategies. This last couple of weeks, we've really been focusing on celebrating student success and bolstering engagement in school culture. This week, finishing up tomorrow, is our Sitka Art Week. And so our 6th graders and 7th graders and tomorrow 8th graders have all got an opportunity to jump in and bolster their art prowess. And this one I just learned about today, which is really cool. Our Builders Club, which is our middle school key club, basically. So it's a service learning club, and they go out, try to raise money, develop leadership skills, and then give that money to other organizations through a granting process to support, not only support kids in our building, but other areas in our community, has raised, after the information I got late this afternoon, $16,000 this year.
Wow.
And they've committed $3,750 of that just for programs within our building. And we continue to focus on our attendance programs here at school to try to improve attendance, remove those barriers so kids can get to school. And our social media has seen a massive uptick in activity over the last couple of weeks. I'm not sure if that's just because we were at the state tournament for basketball, or people are jumping on, or whatever it is. We've had a bigger following than we've had previously. So real big shout out to really Shelby and Carrie Boughton and Kelly Brennan, who kind of run our social media programs. And then middle school track starts right after spring break, and we'll be up and running for that. And there's 11 weeks left in the school year.
We're not counting.
All right. Wow. We're going to listen to the band. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, are there any questions?
No, go enjoy the band.
They'll help the band out.
Yeah.
Cheers.
All right, Desi, you're up.
Okay, we have pictures.
Oh, fun.
So I try to just do it from like the last school board to now. So from the last, so you gotta click on March. Take you to slide 4. Okay. Oh, no, it should take you to slide 4. So I go down. There we go. Okay. So, what we've been doing is we, had a fundraiser. Well, actually, our PE teachers had a really cool fundraiser for the, Heart Association and, Kids Heart Challenge. And they raised over 4,000, which was their record. And what was really fun is they had a, assembly, and the kids who got donations were able to get silly string at the assembly, and they got tsunami skippers to jump to. It was a fun assembly. And the student who raised the most, like, was the first student who got to silly string with them. So that was really fun. And then our preschool open house will be tomorrow night. And that's just something, so this upcoming preschoolers for next year will get to go see their classroom and meet the teachers. So that'll be tomorrow. And then something really cool that you approved in your minutes is we got a donation from MAPS Credit Union. We got a grant for 1,000. One of our parents put our school in, and they only picked 20 schools, and they picked us. So that was really fun to receive this big check. So really cool. And then if you want to go to the next slide, our 5th graders traveled to Portland, and they were in a competition of OBOB, so Oregon Battle of the Books, and they battled other schools where they answer questions about books, and even like the author and things like that of a set of books that OBOB, decides what they are for the year. So they got to do that. PTO is on our cards, our little Seaside cards, and those are a hit. We're trying to get to 3,000, and we're already at 800. So if you haven't bought your card yet, it's $10. So they might hit you up. And then one really cool thing that's happening right now is our 3rd graders are swimming, and that's something that our PTO also does, is they help pay for they do pay for our 3rd graders to go swimming for their field trip, and that helps so that our kids can swim since we live by so much water. And there's a picture of Mrs. Myers, Mrs. Myers' 3rd grade class at the Sunset Rec. And one really cool thing is we get spring break, so shout out to our teachers, because I know they're exhausted from not only teaching, but doing all the report cards and getting it ready for the parent conferences that are coming up, and they'll have a late night on Thursday. So followed by a short day on Friday.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Cannon Beach Academy, Mary Ellen.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Like your green.
Thank you. We had 8 of our 5th graders leave for outdoor school this morning. They are at Camp Arowana in Welches, Oregon. And they've been excited and looking forward to this for quite a while. So I'm excited that they are able to do that this year. Yesterday we had our first of 2 field trips to with the North Coast Land Conservancy. We went to Ecola Creek Reserve, which is in Cannon Beach, right in our own backyard. And that was a really fun time for our students to do some journal. They did some nature journal writing. Hoffman Center from Manzanita came and did some 2 lessons with them before we went on this field trip. And then we've got the Monday after we get back from spring break, we have our second field trip with North Coast Land Conservancy to go to Circle Creek Reserve. So to continue with that. And it was a really sweet, neat experience to see the kids sitting and observing nature and journaling about it. So and those are the updates since I sent out my director's report, but I also have some updated flyers. Wanted to invite you all. We're doing an EcoFest open house, which is part of Cannon Beach's 12 days of Earth Day. It's to start off the festivities of the 12 days, and then we are going to have end the 12 days with tree planting on our school grounds. We've got a lot right next to the school that was torn up when they replaced some water pipes, and we're going to plant some. The kids every year participate in the tree planting in Cannon Beach, and it's fun because we don't have to walk very far. So, and we're excited. This is a space that we're going to be using for an educational outdoor space. It's right next to our raised beds for our school garden, and just an extension of that. So, but our EcoFest open house, we're doing an open house at the school. We're also using it as a fundraiser. The kids have been creating art with our art teacher once a week. So we're going to frame up some of their artwork and have it purchased by donation. We also have some really cool items donated, beach house for 3 nights, and some different gift baskets that we're going to be having as a drawing to also help raise money for the school. We've got a food cart committed, I know, in Cannon Beach. And so, and then a lot of booths that the kids are going to be setting up and sponsoring, and sharing all the knowledge that they've learned about how to care for all of the things in nature. So, so anyway, I hope that you're able to join us. That's what we have coming up. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Union reports. Is Brett online? Yeah, he's got his hand up. Oh, he's come.
Can you guys hear me all right?
Negative.
No.
Can't hear you
Oh,
now.
okay. Okay, hold on. All right, let me try something else.
Oh, it's, yeah.
Can you guys hear me now? All right, can you hear me now? I can't hear you guys.
How about we keep working on that? Keep working on you. We'll start with Megan.
Okay.
All right, good evening.
Hi, Megan.
Not a whole lot going on with OSDA. I just have a few things. Staff are ready for spring break. And hopefully some sunshine. The sunshine yesterday was very deceiving. Just a tease for us, so. I'd like to thank Susan, Jane, and Brett for including me in the conversation about the possible budget reductions. It's helpful to be in there, so we're not asking the same questions over and over again. So that was great, thank you. We had a chapter meeting today. And for the first time in over 2 years, we now have a full executive board. So I'm excited to have some help.
Good job.
Tara Haupt from Pacific Ridge will be my vice president. Shauna Geese from the secondary building will be treasurer. And Kelly Brendan and Carrie Boughton from the secondary building will be co-secretaries. So, I'm excited to have somebody else send emails for us. I would like to address a major concern, that the classified staff have. When we came to the tentative agreement on February 6th, the school district asked that OSEA ratify the contract before the next school board meeting scheduled on February 17th, so staff could get paid in March. We went out of our way in good faith to get that contract ratified in a very short time. And in effort in doing so, the bargaining team explained to the staff the reason of the urgency. It was OSEA's perception that the retroactive pay would be provided in March. Because of this, we now have several staff who are facing additional financial hardships. Several staff need essential car repairs that for their mode of transportation to and from work. Some staff were excited to take their family on a vacation for spring break and they're now having to cancel those plans because they didn't get the money that they were expecting. We are disappointed. Over and over, the classified staff have met the district's requests in good faith to be let down. Now, perhaps we misunderstood the intention of the comment so staff could get paid in March. I will recognize this. However, the district did not provide anything in writing about the plan until I reached out on March 5th. That is almost 4 weeks after the tentative agreement was agreed upon and over 2 weeks after the board had ratified the contract. Hindsight's 2020. Due to the regular errors in staff payroll and to ensure accuracy, OSEA is requesting that each staff person receive the breakdown of how the retroactive pay is figured. The relationship between the district and classified staff is damaged. We need things to change. We need to know that the district and the board has our back and actually cares about the staff. On a more positive note, the week of March 2nd through 6th was Classified Employees Week. The transportation and secondary staff were spoiled with lots of things from candy grams, breakfast treats, lunch, and other goodies. And we would like to thank everyone who was involved in showing us that love. We certainly felt it. All classified us. Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, Sandra. Oh, sorry, Superintendent Search Committee report.
Yeah. Did we want to try Brett or?
Oh, wait, sorry, yes, Brett. People on Zoom can hear me, might be on our end.
Well, it looks like he's muted. Okay, there.
No.
Hello, hello, hello.
No.
Oh, I heard something. That's not Brett.
Check.
Nothing
Well,
on.
There
Yeah,
was no
you can't-
gag plan, I'm sure.
Other people online can hear him. Why can't we hear him?
Yeah, I'm getting text.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I don't get it.
I don't either.
It's,
Okay, write us a
Yeah.
note
no, Brad, sorry.
in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, keep working on it. We're not gonna forget about you.
Okay.
Okay,
It
sorry.
says he's
Oh, that's okay.
not muted, right?
So the
It's not
superintendent search advisory committee meetings and board meetings are open to the public. And public comment is welcome. We value the input from our stakeholders and prioritize the collaboration of those stakeholders in this decision. And we assure you that your input is valuable and we want it and we need it. The superintendent search committee met for their initial meeting on Tuesday, March 3rd, and we discussed and decided on a few details. We talked about the employment application and narrative questions, the process timeline, forming the stakeholder groups and teams, assignment of duties, and we heard input from attendees. The superintendent position application was made available on the district website on March 9th, and it will close on March 29th. The interview panel interest form was made available March 9th through the 15th, and has now closed. However, we discussed in our committee meeting earlier today that due to wanting more input from the classified groups, we have opened it until tomorrow at noon, or until we reach 12 more people who want to be a part in the classified area. We also went through the naming the leaders of those groups. The licensed staff will be, can I say this? Yeah. Jane Crater, classified staff to be determined. Student representative is Kennedy Klumper. And then our administrators and district staff is Carolina Gage. All staff were invited to submit their interest in being a part of one of these groups and were able to submit an interest online. Sorry, I'm a very scripted person. So there will be an opportunity for community involvement in this process. Again, we highly encourage the community involvement in this process. A community forum will be held the week of April 20th, and the exact date is to be determined. And that'll be for the greater community to meet and interact with our finalist candidates. Some important dates for you all is March 18th, tomorrow, will be the mandatory after-school meeting for interview panel groups at the secondary library, doing at 4 o'clock. April 1st at 5 p.m. we have an executive session for the application screening. April 8th and 9th, semifinalist interviews. The week of April 20th, again, the community forum. Week of April 27th, school board meets in executive session to make final selection. And then July 1st, we'll have our new superintendent start. What else did we talk about in our meeting today? We heard feedback from the interview panelists and our panel groups, and we're grateful for that feedback, and we will take that feedback with us as we move through this. Groups are able to submit up to 20 questions, and they will be pared down to about 10 to 15 for the interview process. I think that's it.
Thank you, Sandra. Good work, committee.
We're moving along. Getting there.
Great work.
Okay, I think we're moving along to public comment. That's why some of you are here, so real fast. The meeting will now be open to receive public comments. We value the time and initiative members of the public take to share their thoughts with the board. The board's role during public comment is not to immediately respond, but to listen. If follow-up is necessary, we will direct our superintendent to do so. Remember that we are all role models for our students. Please share your thoughts respectfully. Should any public comment include complaints regarding a personally identifiable staff member, the board chair will direct the speaker to the proper administrative process found in board policy KL public complaints. Speakers will have 3 minutes to express their thoughts. We invite anyone up who has public comment, and when you come up, if you could please state your name and what is it, the city you live in? Uh-oh. No fighting.
Good evening. I'm Phil Vincent, and I'm the president of the Cannon Beach Academy. As you guys know and love. So I just had a couple thoughts to share with you. Here tonight because at CBA, we look forward to not only emailing about, but actively discussing our charter amendment with the district. It's something that's went around email, I sent a couple out and so forth. But we want to have more of a dialogue, rather than just come together and, have a vote. So that's one of the things I wanted to share with you. We recognize the pressures that SSD is navigating this year, and we want to be a constructive partner as we work through these updates together, the updates that we would propose. Our amendment includes several important operational and academic elements that benefit students in both districts. These are items that really do require a conversation, not just document exchange, so we can ensure alignment and shared understanding. Some of the key updates include modernization of curriculum to stay aligned with both SSD and state expectations, reinforce equal access to transportation as outlined in our charter, strengthening collaboration around English language learner curriculum and training, continuing our cooperative approach to special education, and expanding to include sixth grade, which reflects sustained family demand and supports smoother transitions into SSD as they move from our school to yours. As an SSD charter school, we believe our students are best served when our boards and administrations have regular structured communication. Right now, we're not having these regular meetings, and we think it would be pretty cool if we could do that on a regular basis. We're eager to establish a predictable collaborative communication rhythm that supports both organizations. So tonight, I respectfully ask that if we could be on your next meeting, April 21st, to have a discussion. Our board, our executive director, Mary Ellen, would be happy to answer questions before, after, during, whatever. And I also want to recognize that I think behind me and online, we have some folks from CBA, and if you want to raise your hands, if you're here from Cannon Beach tonight. So we have a lot of family support of folks that both want to be here in support, but probably have things to say as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you. And I'm sorry you have to wait so long through this meeting. So raise your hands and say that. That's, yeah, it's a marathon.
It is a marathon when kids are in bed. So it's nice. All right, my name is Ricky Hewitt, Cannon Beach Academy. The one on the screen there, they can see it. I just wanted to first say thank you for giving your support as you have throughout the years to Cannon Beach Academy. My daughter went to Seaside Elementary for a year and a half-ish, and we were some different options, and so it's great that there are other options out there for parents, and so that's been huge. I have 2 additional boys. They go to Cannon Beach, so 3 full-time kids there, which is fantastic. Wouldn't have any other way. Some of the things that I did want to talk about though is, up until I believe this year, there was actually a bus that would service. You're saying maybe his hands are different. What are you thinking? Was it a bus before this?
Well, we're just listening to.
You just listening. Okay.
I'll make a statement
You
later.
make a statement later. All right. I'll be here. Maybe the rest of you can see. Anyway, there at one time or another was a bus that helped bus students to Cannon Beach Academy. And that no longer is an option. So obviously then parents have to take on that responsibility. What I've heard tonight, obviously with this group, as well as, a lot of the surrounding supporting groups, is that attendance is huge. I mean, if you don't have a bus that can get you to a school, I think attendance is pretty hard to keep up where we want it, which is near that 100% mark, right? I mean, without a bus, if you look at a school and you say, okay, what do I think of when I look at a school? Obviously a school, but then also a bus. There's just no way you can't think of a bus without looking at a school. So anyway, that's something that I would love to see, because there are times when my wife and I both work full time, we can't get our kids to school. So, talking about attendance, that's a big thing. The other item I wanted to mention is that, all of us here pay school taxes, right, through our taxes. So everyone gets funded, all that. I understand you guys are going through some budget issues. I think everyone is, right? I don't think it's just local, it's even schools, right? Things are tightening. I will wrap this up because it's only 3 minutes, but right now, Cannon Beach Academy gets 80% per child. I'm paying 100% of that, right? And then I'm seeing 80% for each one of my children go to Cannon Beach Academy, right? We already established we don't have a bus. We already established some other things. Obviously, there's some more discussions that'll be occurring. I'm looking forward to those in the future, but I would love to see a lot of those funds go to the place that my child goes to school at. There's obviously going to be operational things, you guys being a charter and helping sponsor us. So I understand that piece, but I would love to see more of that go to the school that my kids go to. And to end this all, I'm going to bring it back to what we talked about earlier. Okay, you guys have all known about this. There is no power greater than a community discovering what it cares about. Ask what's possible. All right. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You will. Yeah, come on up.
Hello, welcome.
I'm Olivia Triller. I am a mom of 3 boys, and I actually used to have my boys at Pacific Ridge, and it was. We had a wonderful experience with the staff. My child is now in 3rd grade. And now we go to Cannon Beach Academy. So I just wanted to share a little bit about our story as a family and our experience now at Cannon Beach Academy and the change it's brought to our lives. So my son did 2 years at Pacific Ridge. The staff was incredible. Principal Wozniak and Nurse Megan and the counselors helped my highly anxious child find a plan so that he could try to thrive at school. And despite all intervention and all help, my child continued to feel unsafe at school because of his peers, because he had some unsafe friendships, because it was a big school and he's an anxious kiddo. So for 2 years, my kid really suffered. He woke up at 3 a.m. every night and he would have panic attacks and would have to be drugged into school. And despite incredible staff, we continued to watch him suffer for 2 years and figured, okay, well, this is just gonna be school. When he gets to college, he'll find his thing. Saw that same thing with my next kiddo. We have 3 boys, so 3rd grade, kindergarten, and a 3-year-old. And because of certain circumstances last year that made my kid feel super unsafe amongst his peers at Pacific Ridge, we decided to pull him out and started thinking about homeschool. And then figured Cannon Beach is free and we can get there. I'm so happy to report that my kid is happy. He is healing. He is thriving academically. He has friends. He did not have friends, even though he tried. And he gets to be with his brother, which is super healing. He gets to see his brother every day, even though they're 2 grades apart, 3 grades apart. I need to go to elementary school. And that has been huge. So our experience with Cannon Beach Academy, life-changing. We are a part of a community. We were super isolated when we went to Pacific Ridge. Not for lack of trying. My kid, anxious as he was not ready for school sports or other academic or extracurriculars. So we couldn't engage in that. And therefore we were super isolated. We couldn't even get play dates. We had no access to the parents. It was lonely. And my kid has friends. I know parents, I know families because I can drop my kid off. I can talk to families. We get to go into the school. I get to go have lunch with my kids. I get to see their friends and know what they're going through and help guide them through different things. And if my kid has an issue with another kid, I have access to their parents. I did not have access at Pacific Ridge because it was so big.
Sorry.
Oh, love Cannon Beach. Fast. Come to the Eco Fest, come see how happy our kids are. We would love to have you and there's food. So definitely come. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. We have people online, anyone online? There's a hand there. Well, it's.
And here.
Come on up.
It's a clap. It's good.
That was a clap. It was a clap. Yeah. I don't know how you.
My name's Cole Nelson. And my daughter Anna attends Cannon Beach Academy. 5 years ago, my wife died. And so I'm a widowed father. And had to move close to family and friends on both sides of her mom's side. And my twin sister up in Seattle. We lived up there for 3 years and found out about the opening at Cannon Beach. And actually the last words Carolyn said to me before she died was to move to Cannon Beach or Oregon. That was her favorite place. And to find out that there was this awesome special elementary school right there in Cannon Beach was incredible. And Mary Ellen invited us in with open arms. Anna was diagnosed with autism back in 23, and from Seattle Children's Hospital, she went to an elementary school up there, but boy, it was tough to make friends and lots of bullying. And Anna's thriving. She's doing way better in school. She's made all these new friends now, and it's just a special place. And I'm so grateful that she's going there. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, board.
Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Rochelle Plummer. I have two daughters, Mabel and Maggie. We've lived on the coast for almost 14 years. My oldest daughter, Mabel, is a fifth grader at CBA. And Maggie, my first grader, she goes to Fire Mountain School. I also am board treasurer of said Fire Mountain School. So I appreciate all of your efforts here. But today I'm here as a parent and just wanting to express the gratitude that we have for CBA. Mabel has sampled all of the schools on this side of the county, and we tried Fire Mountain School, we tried Pacific Ridge, and we made the decision to pull her out and for her to attend CBA in third grade because she was falling behind academically and her needs weren't being met. So we pulled her into CBA, and it's been so incredibly wonderful, beautiful community. The intention is there. And as we're thinking for next year, as she transitions into sixth grade, we're really hopeful that there will be an option at CBA for her to go next year. So, but yeah, I'm excited for more conversation around the possibilities. As a parent, I think it's incredibly empowering to have options when it comes to your child's academics. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Greg, was there anyone online? Okay, that was a clap. Oh,
Got one more. Come on up. Come on.
Hey, Jen.
Hi, I'm Jen Gooch. I'm just here to speak on behalf of the wellness program. And I just want to say thank you for supporting our wellness program. I think more than ever, it's always been important. It's more than ever important for us to prioritize our well-being and just send a message to staff that they matter and that their well-being matters. And I love how we're doing that. And I love the honor of being a part of that. And so I just would like to say thank you. I think that when we prioritize our wellness and staff, on ourselves and staff, that ripples out into students and our community. And it's just really important right now and always. Thank you. Thanks, Jen.
anyone else out there have anything to say? Okay, well, thank you all for commenting. We do really appreciate that. All right, moving along. To the consent agenda. No, it's not consent agenda, so.
Yep.
Yep.
Do we have to? Oh,
Agenda.
have to approve that.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Are there any questions?
I just have, I guess, a couple of comments. I've got a lot of good teachers retiring. And the superintendent, I noticed she's in there too. I'm kind of bummed about flag football personally, because I know that that's gonna come back. And I know just, it's about numbers. So that was I just wanna, give everybody a chance to get up and do something. So whether it be the arts or sports or anything. So that just a comment.
Yeah,
Yeah, and just, I mean, regarding flag football, I know Megan, Megan Dave, when she saw this on here, she's like, that doesn't mean we're not ever gonna have flag football
Yeah,
again. And I said, no, I wanna, we'll make sure and mention that
Yes.
we just don't have enough students this year, but we're really hoping to see it come back next year. So yeah, we want to make sure you understand that we just don't have enough students this year, but that doesn't mean we don't hope to bring it back next year.
Did we
So-
not have enough sign up?
Yes, that's correct. No, we did not. That is correct.
Yes.
We had a minimum number of full-time students, because this is the year we are transitioning into a full season.
Mhm.
And we had to have a set number, and
Yes.
we we're just shy of that, and so.
I do want to add that I'm very sad about that as well, because, and I won't embarrass her saying name because we're not supposed to, but my daughter, you know, it's been very hard for her to be connected with things. And this was the one thing that she was really excelling in, and so, not to get emotional, but it was very hard to read that, like, or when she came and told me, she was very disappointed about it as well. So, I don't think there's anything we can do about it, but.
She's gonna help me recruit.
Yeah,
Okay.
just so
Yeah,
that independent
perfect. Yeah, she's got it
Thank- yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have a comment too. I know that all of these retiring people or resigning or retiring are important, very important in the district, but there's one in particular. And that's Matt Johnson. I had the privilege of being a colleague of Matt's for many years. So I have nothing but respect for his professionalism and his care for students. And the things that he's done over the years have just been great. So seeing him retire, I just wish him the best.
It's great. Both of my kids have had it. It's great. Yeah.
Ask him about his retirement project. It's pretty exciting. I'll plant that little curiosity in you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, any other questions or comments? Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Now we're on action items. And the first one, is the superintendent evaluation. So earlier we decided to do a full
Each year.
each year we do a full evaluation on the superintendent. And we didn't used to do that, but we decided, you know, we should get on board with that and start this process.
If we were supposed to.
Now, light,
But when I came on board.
Susan got, she
Yeah.
did the lucky card.
but in light of Susan's retirement, we can decide to suspend the remaining of the evaluation process when you are retiring. We can kind of have her keep checking in with her goals and evaluations, and you sent some stuff out to us earlier. Or we can decide to continue on with the full evaluation. So we need to put a motion on and then we can discuss.
I move to suspend the remainder of the evaluation process for the superintendent, Susan Penrod.
A second?
Motion's been made and seconded to suspend the remainder of the evaluation process for Superintendent Susan Penrod. Questions, comments?
I think we need to spend a lot more of our time looking for a new superintendent and then evaluating our one that is retiring, in my personal opinion. So we can give that right now.
I mean, I would also like the goals check-ins just to see what's still going on with projects, but that could also just be, you know, you emailing out like you did yesterday.
There's no compensation bonuses, anything tied to the performance metrics or anything else.
Yeah.
So this is just strictly an administrative evaluation process with nothing tied to it.
Correct.
Okay.
You know,
Typically, like, we'd evaluate and then, you know, we have a 3-year contract. We say, hey, your evaluations are good. Here's another contract, right? That's kind of the reward through the evaluation process would be more work.
you get to continue on.
Yeah, yeah. we
Yeah,
like you.
and that would be if, I mean, every 3 years, that's the contract, but we've gone through the full evaluation process every year.
Yeah, yeah, we've done.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the point is to give feedback and to hear your updates on goals. You're retiring this year, so I think hearing your goal updates is good. Yeah. Right, that's what you said.
Well, I mean, that's what I would like to still see
Yeah,
is
I think
just
I
like
don't mind.
where you are and some of these projects and things, you know, just to keep track, but I don't necessarily think we need to do the full blown.
I'd like to see an informal process, which is Susan, keep telling us what you got going on.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
Right.
But we want we want the feedback. The goals were important. If the goals were not important, there's no reason to have them.
Right.
So if they were important, how you doing on getting some of that stuff set up for the next person in your chair?
Kind of helps us also with the next person in your chair. So.
But a formal, no. I agree with that.
If I may, a number of years ago, the board adopted the tool to use to evaluate the superintendent. It's an LSBA tool that outlines the steps. Currently, the motion on the floor is to suspend the remainder of the evaluation process this year for the superintendent. That's the motion that you're discussing right now. If you want some hybrid, half and half, then you're gonna have to define which steps of the process you want to keep and which you don't, I would say.
And the artifacts that I sent you, I think it was last Friday, is the part of the formal process, which is using those, it is not only my 3 goals update, but it's also the 8 standards part of the formal process. So
self-evaluation.
The self-evaluation. So
when were you scheduled to give us information again? Tonight is when you were scheduled.
And so that's why I sent it to you in case you chose to continue with the superintendent evaluation process in full, you would have that. So I wanted to be prepared in case you chose any of these 3.
I didn't know if you sent us that, just to update us, or if that was.
No, that's
on
part of
schedule.
the year-long calendar.
Well, then we only, we have April and May.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, now that you put it that way, because we kind of got.
Yeah.
More questions, comments? Okay, a motion has been made to suspend the remainder of the evaluation process for Superintendent Susan Penrod. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
We will not ever see her again.
Wow.
We'll be judging in private.
Okay, budget committee vacancy.
You want me to explain this part? Okay, so, we have a vacancy because one of our budget committee members has been appointed to the board. So, that of course made a vacancy because we have 7 board members and 7 budget committee members, so that left one opening. So at the board's direction, when we had an opening a few months ago, there were a couple people still who were interested in that. We contacted those people. They were not interested in being considered again. Also, a decision that the board made was to include the person Mr. Urbach on here because he was interested in a board position. He did share that he was interested in budget committee position. We did complete the application. So in front of you with this attachment is his application, being the one person who is interested in filling this budget opening.
We did ask to inquire with both.
We did.
Okay.
Yes. So that due diligence was done.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And thank you, Leslie, for contacting them.
You're welcome.
I move to appoint Derek Urbach to the vacant budget committee position.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to appoint Derek Urbach to the budget committee vacancy position. Any questions?
No, I appreciate his interest.
Same. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Congratulations, Derek.
All budget, just for your information, all budget committee members will get an email within the next week. Just a reminder, because we have them watch that kind of video webinar put out by the state, and that's kind of their pre-work to do before their first meeting.
Okay, inter-district transfer.
So each year, the board is required to approve an inter-district transfer. This is not any different than what we have proposed in the past. We have not accepted any inter-district transfers from kindergarten through 8th grade, and that is intentional to keep our class sizes low. Up to 20 inter-district transfers in grades 9 through 12. So this request is consistent with no changes to what we've done the past several years.
Does this entail any reciprocity with other districts?
Everybody has.
Everybody-
Transfers,
Yeah.
usually schools, especially in the
Uh-huh.
state schools, will open them to all transfers because then they receive more.
Yeah.
Right, and so, for instance, if a student transferred from one of our other districts in the county, their district would need to release them.
Mhm.
I don't think we do like. Trailers.
No, I
We
just
get
want-
one. You said.
No, I wondered if there was kind of an agreement that, you know, we have a few go your way. Will you take a few of ours, kind of thing?
No.
I don't mean a one for one. or-
No, I-
We're gonna do draft pick. No, nothing like that. But I get it. Yeah, we're not under the state school funding, so it's not a huge advantage financially.
It's no financial
District is a
advantage,
difference.
yes.
Whereas for
No.
some other district, it might be an advantage. Huh?
We have to make the motion and then.
Oh, yeah, we do have to make the motion. Okay,
Clarifying.
I was trying to clarify.
That was a fair question. Yes.
Good job, Sandra. Good job, Sandra. You're up to know your stuff.
Okay. Clear.
I need a motion.
I move to appoint, oh no, I'm the only one. Yes, got it.
I move to approve the inter-district transfer process as presented.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the inter-district transfer process as presented. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Right, board reflections, announcements. Is there anything anyone wants to add to?
Thanks you all for being so welcoming. Everybody for being here.
Congratulations.
Glad you're here.
Can we, this is just open, right? Can we never have a meeting with the band, please? I think that, and I mean that like. You know, I'm very lighthearted.
We could have moved it.
I love background music, but I think that it was detrimental to what we're talking about tonight. So I would like to never have another meeting with music playing in the background as we have the community speaking and they have background music. I had a hard time with it and it's very distracting. So I think that would be one thing that I would ask for.
I think what we need to do is move venues.
We
the
could
band
move,
nights.
yeah, we could go down
Right, I
to,
think that I'm.
Sounds great.
because we've done it for Civic.
Because you do
It's funny,
adopt-
it's-
yes.
you know, you don't even-
You do adopt your board meetings in July. There's plenty of
Well, yeah.
plenty of time.
We just need to make sure that if we see a band concert coming up, we need to maybe change venues. And I'm cool with that. I think keeping it the same day, but then move down the hill.
I think the solution is a performing arts center.
Yes, there we go. That would be the solution.
100%.
So regarding the Cannon Beach discussion, we have a lot of emails in our inbox now. Love emails, let me be very clear. I would like to clarify how we are going to come up with what that next meeting will be, the attendees, the structure. I don't know if we can have that conversation out of a public meeting, but if we need to have it now, now's the time to noodle on it. Happy to do that, but I would like some clarity on what that meeting and structure will look like.
I have a recommendation.
Yes, Susan, thank you for having a recommendation.
There are 4 board members who are now on the board who were not involved at all when the district entered their partnership with Cannon Beach Academy. I really think it's important to have some kind of work session because this is a really valuable partnership that we have with Cannon Beach Academy, but there are, I shouldn't say but, I should say and, there are a lot of things that that the 4 of you, I think it would be really beneficial to learn about our district's partnership and public school districts in general partnerships when you sponsor charter school and what that looks like and to be able to have that to do a work session and invite Cannon Beach Academy to be part of that discussion. And so I think that would be really valuable to be able to have these discussions moving forward and to be able to have that context.
Yeah, I agree with you because even for me to have a refresher on what's in the
I think maybe sending out the charter to all the members again. I'm pretty sure we might have it somewhere, but sending that out and sending out also what the state requires for charters too.
So to be able to kind of hear about the inception of the process and like I said, you know, I mean, what is it? What are those requirements? What is kind of the heart of it? And, you know, to be able to hear about those commitments and to be able to hear from you. And I think that would be a really good time to, because to hear it without kind of that background, I think, doesn't really give you the full picture. So that's my opinion.
I would agree with that. We can get that scheduled. Along with all our other things. Soon. No, I think scheduling a work session too, and I think understanding the charter itself is important before we even get to that meeting. And then when we're at the meeting, we can have another discussion.
Yep. And that would be full board attendance, not just
full board attendance.
Yeah.
Let's try.
And along with Cannon Beach.
Yeah, I've been there. My kids were at Cannon Beach Elementary.
I just talked to you in a professional environment and then I made a joke.
I like
last part, on the budget readouts, the weekly report or the monthly report. It is time to have clarity on what those documents are for the entire board. I have a hard time following it, and I think everyone here has a hard time following it. I don't mean to speak for you, but it should be very, very clear on our current monthly projected balance, our current monthly actual balance, our current monthly projected expenditures, and our actual monthly projected expenditures. It is just those 4 boxes, because in the discussion tonight, we found out that $3.2 million that we've set aside has been allocated, has not been allocated, has been allocated, has not been allocated. So the board made a decision last year to set that money aside, no problem. But as we move forward and we still have that amount of money sitting there for the year, we're not doing anything with that we might have received funding for and then didn't receive funding for. All right, so it would be helpful, I think, for the board to see those 4 numbers and have that be part of the discussion and the projections for all of our meetings. His current report.
Are you talking about simplifying it?
Okay, so you want to
Clarify.
simplify it.
Well, so I just want to clarify that the board chose those 2 documents as a way that they wanted it presented. Those were chosen by this board as a way to communicate that, because we were communicating in a different way. The feedback that we got from the board was that they wanted, we offered them a couple different formats. The board voted on those two formats. So if those, and I know we have had some turnover in the board, but if those are not ways that you want that communicated, then please share with us how, because we're sharing in those documents because those are documents that you chose. So we're happy to switch it up, but if those are documents that are not helpful to you, we would need to hear from you on, and we can give you some other samples. And clarification that the 3.2 million that we put in reserves were district funds, not federal funds that we set aside. We set those aside in case we had reduction. And specifically, if we need to go back to the minutes, that was specifically set aside in case there were funds that were pulled from us so that we didn't have to change our funding model throughout the year. That's specifically why. Those were reserve extra money that we put in reserves for that. So I just want to clarify that.
Okay. So you want to see something else though, Jason?
Is that not what I said about the reserve funds?
Yeah, you just want to see another document along with.
I would like to
You said that they've been pulled and they haven't, and.
Well, that's what you said, was that we received.
No, those are the federal funds.
Right.
The
Federal-
3.2 is not federal funding. It's
Right.
to be a reserve in case the federal funds are pulled.
Right, but we received the federal funds. And we also reserved the 3.2 million of our funds.
But our school year isn't over yet. The reason we put that in there was to be a reserve through June 30th in case we do not receive that funding.
Right.
It's an insurance policy.
But did we or did we not receive that funding?
I think that's
So-
the problem is we
So
get
we
it and
were
then they take it.
awarded and then
Right.
we weren't, and then we were awarded. And so
So not really.
So depending on the US Board of Education they're the ones that do most of the title
Right.
granting.
Right.
They've pulled it, they've given it, pulled it. So what the 3.2 million was in the general fund that we could transfer
Mhm.
to the title funds if we didn't get the title funds.
So I'll be
So
able
we-
to answer that fully June 30th.
So help me. Are we spending out of the 3.2, anticipating it will be backfilled from federal funds, but we aren't sure if we're really getting it? Is that what we're doing with the 3.2?
We are saving it in case we actually do not receive those funds.
Well, what are the funds for?
I will share with you, we shared that in a board meeting, exactly broken down in.
Okay, but what I mean is, what are they for? They're for things that we have to spend money for.
Yes.
So are we spending out of the 3.2? And then when we get the funds, it fills back into the 3.2.
So what we do is we spend the money, we spend the
We
title
are
grants.
spending, we are spending the
We
money.
are spending the title grants as awarded, current award, and when we go for reimbursement, if they have already pulled that award again, then we would backfill with the 3.2 million.
Perfect. I think I just said it backwards.
Yeah.
Okay,
So it's a reimbursement method,
got it.
Right.
and
And that's.
We may
what-
not
and
be
that's what's
reimbursed.
been
we're
awarded and then not,
Right.
and awarded and then not is the reimbursement.
traditionally with this federal funding, we are reimbursed in quarterly payments. With some of those, it's been quarterly. In all my years of education, it's been quarterly. But they're changing that this
Well,
year.
yeah, federal stuff is.
Right.
Yeah.
It's volatile.
So if we get
So I
reimbursed the
think-
$3 million, then we'll have a $3 million surplus of general fund money.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which we hope we do.
We hope we
I
do.
hope we do.
When I shared that with you, I said, I hope we don't have to spend any of this.
Tony, maybe you could put together, you or Jason, you could. tell me
We
what-
wouldn't have to do that.
she's
It's
like,
guaranteed we
she
get the
could do
money,
some examples.
but it's not
Right.
guaranteed.
It's a confusing it's a confusing process for sure.
But if there's something we want to see, let's see it. I'm sure it'd be
I'm just
beneficial for all.
asking Jason, if you could put together what you would like to see. And then Tony can maybe put together some options of how she can put that together.
Absolutely.
Okay, anything else? Okay, we will take a short 10-minute break and then move into executive session. Okay, we're staying in here, so sorry, everyone gets to go, but you can go home now.
You're gonna.
All right, I'm
have-
going to
you're gonna have-
reconvene the meeting of the regular meeting of the school district. Any other business to discuss? Okay, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Oh, that was.
Thanks.